Hello, hello, hello. Today's special guest has a story that can affect you directly as a public practitioner. Beck Ravenwood, also known as the Stitching Witch, is a powerhouse of a personality that is suing the Hanover Pennsylvania Police Department for violating their constitutional rights, and they're further pushing for the local government to update century-old laws that violate the constitutional rights of practitioners. Now, this is a real important need for many occult business owners and practitioners, especially in the southern United States, where we face a ridiculous amount of adversity that is also, like the laws, outdated by several centuries. So, without further ado, sit back, relax, and enjoy. Here we go. And we have Beck Ravenwood here with us today. Beck has a truly amazing story and a series of services to offer. I'm going to get out of the way and just ask right off the bat, Beck, how the hell are you?
Hi. Oh my gosh. Hi. I'm doing super good. Thank you so much for taking your time this morning to sit down and talk with me because I know I don't know. I'm a professional yapper, so hopefully you won't be too tired.
Not well, I mean, mental health counselor here, so professional
So
yapper as well.
also, likewise,
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah. So what you're going through right now, I'm going to let you tell the story and intro of it, but what you're going through is so important for so many practitioners to really understand that this kind of stuff still happens in this day and age. And you've got a pretty big following on the Tickety Tack and
Yes, indeed.
Instagram. Can you tell us, break down exactly what's going on, as much detail as you want?
Totally. And yes, thank you again just for letting me even share this story because the fact that anyone cares about it is like crazy to me still, like to this day, and even cares this far out. But basically, it begins many moons ago in 2023. I own, my name's Beck. I opened a shop called the Serpents Key Shop and Sanctuary here in Hanover, Pennsylvania, which is kind of like South Central, pretty close to the Maryland line, if anyone is a geography nerd. But um, basically, I opened up a tiny little shop with a bunch of little vendors and stuff like that. It's kind of like a witchy consignment store where everything
Mhm.
is like handmade by like local folks. It's really fun. It's a nice like collective effort. And as I was getting kind of set up, my grand opening was set to be on October 31st, of course, of 2023.
Nice.
Yes, I figured, which is New Year, which is
Mhm.
shop, it would be just
Yeah.
perfect.
It's my
Um,
anniversary too,
Oh,
just
I love that.
yeah.
It's always nice to have a Samhain wedding, indeed.
Yeah.
Um, I kind of leading up to all of that. I wanted to, of course, do all the promo and all of the stuff that you need to do, all the mundane tasks of social media, which I know we all love.
Mm.
And part of that led me to reaching out to a local nonprofit called Main Street Hanover. And at the time, which I don't think they do it anymore, and I feel kind of bad because I do believe it was my fault. But basically, they wrote like a blog on their local blog called like their Main Street Hanover blog, and the feature was called Meet the Maker. So it featured like a small local business that was downtown in Hanover. It just was kind of like, hey, did you know this was here? So it was free. You filled out a Google Doc. It was really nice. They did a whole little write up, took some pictures, and at the end, they included the fact that I offer tarot reading as a
Mm.
service. And that one sentence is like really
Oh.
kind of what changed like my whole life, right? Which is is
Mm.
is cool, but also I was like, oh my gosh. They published the article in the morning of October 3rd, 2023, and I'm probably going to remember that date for the rest of my life. But they posted it. I shared it all over Facebook. I like closed my laptop. I went around my merry way. I think I went to like therapy or something, like, actually. And I remember actually it was that because I remember opening my phone and being like, I should just turn right back around. Because when I opened up my phone, the first notification I saw was an email from the nonprofit saying, like, hey, could you just like give us a call? We're so sorry. Seems like the article alerted the police chief of Hanover to the fact that you offer tarot readings, and he contacted us to let us know that he's going to be stopping by to inform you that there is a law dating back to 1861 in Pennsylvania that outlaws fortune telling, astrology, love spells,
Mm.
necromancy, like all sorts of witchcraft,
All the
basically.
fun stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, dang, well, that really ruins my Friday night plans, you know. No, I'm just kidding. But basically, that he was going to come in and like cite the law to me and just like inform me, that if he caught
Mhm.
me doing this, that he would be forced to come and arrest me and take me to jail for up to a year or
Hmm.
charge me $2,500 per offense, right? So like
Jeez.
per tarot reading given. And if you look at the law, it also states that advertisement can be used as evidence, like to be taken
Mhm.
away, right?
Mhm.
So all of my social media was like in jeopardy. Like I was not technically able to post about that service, basically,
Ooh,
if that makes
okay.
sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
So as like a small business starting out, when that service is like not necessarily like a cornerstone, but a big part of what we do here.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I it was kind of unnerving. So I got that email and immediately I was like, okay, so as a social media person, like I'm just gonna post
Hmm.
about this on TikTok because that's one kind of ridiculous and hilarious. And
Yeah.
two, like I can't believe that this is my life. Like what is happening right now?
Yeah.
Um
Not to
so
mention that is blatantly unconstitutional.
Yeah, well, it
I
gets better.
mean,
It gets even
wow.
more constitutional because it kind of like has escalated, and that's why I think it's such a big case.
Hmm.
So I posted about it on TikTok. I called a lawyer or had a friend actually like get me in touch with their lawyer, which was like so huge, and I'm so grateful for that. But he kind of like the lawyer literally kind of laughed at me, and he was like, "Oh my gosh, don't worry about this. This is like totally like."
Hmm.
Some small town cop just trying to throw his weight around. Like, this is going to go nowhere. Like,
Yeah.
call me if it gets worse. And I was like, okay. And just like knowing that, like, this is just setting me up for this to like get crazy. So,
Hmm.
anyways, couple days later, like 2 days later, the police chief of Hanover, Chad Martin, and another officer whose name I don't know. I didn't have the wits about me to be like, can I have your badge number? Because like
Yeah.
two grown men came into my shop and I am alone. And I'm not trying to be like, oh, poor me. I'm just a tiny little person. But like, I don't know why they needed two people, maybe for like witness. I don't know. So anyways, these two men come in. They kind of back me to the like corner of my shop. And they say, "Hi, I'm Chad Martin. I'm the police chief of Hanover. Like, I'm here to inform you of this law." And like, kind of starts his spiel. And at that
Hmm.
point, I asked if I could record the conversation because that is something you can do with the police, right?
Hmm.
And he said no. He told me that I was not allowed to do that because it
Hmm.
was just a personal conversation and that he was acting as a private citizen, even though he
While
and
in
another officer.
uniform with
Right,
backup.
right, and like
Yeah.
I will say they were in their like casual uniform. Like it was
Mm.
something that it was like khakis and a polo, and they had like a little like Hanover Borough insignia, but it wasn't like they were
Hmm.
like strapped, or at least that I
Okay.
could see. Who knows,
Yeah.
I have no idea. In case I levitate or whatever, like they had to be careful.
She's
Uh,
floating. Get her.
yeah, right. Oh my gosh, she's a witch.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I at that point I was like, okay, well, if I'm not allowed to record this, then I don't really want to talk to you without a lawyer present. And he continued just to kind of cite the law at me and like would
Mm.
not let me like,
Hmm.
kind of like get out of that conversation or situation. So I kind of just said, okay, thank you, have a nice day, and that was it. Like I stopped talking after asking for. In fact, that was the first thing I did was like, hi, I would like to record this conversation. No, I can't record it. I would like a lawyer. I can't have a lawyer. Have a nice day. Like that was really kind of
Oof.
like the way that conversation went. Where he kind of told me like he wasn't going to arrest me that day, but if he got
Mhm.
any reports, that he would be back, like
Mhm.
just to be sure. And at that point, I kind of I like, and maybe against my best judgment, but I was like, hey man, I do have like signs up that say like this is for entertainment purposes only. Like I'm not like defrauding people, dude. Like I'm not
Yeah.
here to misrepresent myself. Um, But he kind of looked at it and he goes, "Oh, those little pieces of paper would never hold up in court," and then just kind of like left. And I was like, "All right, have a nice day, officer." Like I tried, like I'm trying to like have a
Hmm.
dialogue with you. And at one point he did. I remember very vividly. He was like, I think after I'd asked for my a lawyer, he goes, I'm just here to have an adult conversation with you." And I'm like, "Yeah,
Hmm.
me too, dude." Like so yeah, it was definitely a like that was like the initiating event. And at that point, I kind of like posted about it. I posted, I think, like the security footage of them coming in
Hmm.
and like talking to me and all that. And then it got picked up by a bunch of news stations and stuff, and it really caught
Hmm.
fire. So all of a sudden, I'm hearing people from like New Zealand. They're like, "Oh, we've heard of the Serpents Key," and I'm like, "Oh my God, you're in Middle Earth!" Like,
Frodo
um,
and company are sending
I
you
know. I'm like,
emails at
where
this
are the
point.
hobbits? Do they know about me, the prancing pony? But yeah, no, it has really become just such a life changing event. Because
Mm.
after that, a lawyer got in touch with me, my current lawyer, Alexa, and she was like, "Hey, so I don't know if you know this, but like your First and 14th Amendment rights were like super trampled on by like a
Hmm.
lot of people. And you should probably be like more angry about it than you seem to be. Would you like to do something about it?" And I was like, "All right, Alexa, let's do it.
You're like,
Like
yes, let's
yeah,
do.
like if you want to do this, I think we should do this. Like for
Hmm.
so we filed I think like 17-page lawsuit like against the Hanover police chief and the Hanover borough. We kind of went back and forth with their lawyer trying to get like protections for my business so that like because they know the law's unconstitutional. There
Yeah.
were multiple other businesses in Hanover who offer the same services but were not given the same citation or warning. So it's kind of
Hmm.
like, all right, like why are you just picking on the one, right? Like what makes it so different? And I don't really know. But what was I going to say? Oh my gosh, yes. So we went back and forth, and it eventually got escalated to the point that it is now, which is like it's a constitutional crisis, which I know sounds like very, very like dramatic, but
Hmm.
it kind of is like this law from the 1800s. It does like violate the First Amendment of the Constitution,
Hmm.
so it is kind of at a point where multiple other states have overturned their witchcraft laws on the same kind of argument that we're presenting. And
Yeah.
we're using, of course, those as evidence to be like, hey, so they did it too. This is the same kind of thing. And we're really working, my lawyer and I, to like abolish or just like get rid of, strike that book or strike that law from the book. So that way it can't be
Nice.
used to like unduly harm people, because it's
Yeah.
never been in the history of the law, it's never been prosecuted on its own. It's always been kind of tacked on to other cases where like major fraud was involved, where we're talking
Yeah.
like, $250,000, like in terms of like wire fraud cases. And like the
Hmm.
flavor of the scam was, oh, I know what your dead daughter is, but you have to, you know what I mean? Like, which is like
Yeah.
not what we're doing here.
Yeah.
My readings generally cost anywhere between $20 and like up to 100 for the whole hour, like which
Hmm.
is I don't know. I feel like market rate for other like shops in the area.
That's about average, yeah. And I'm
Yeah.
I'm actually trying to encourage more diviners to raise their prices a little bit,
Yes.
because inflation is a thing.
It is.
So
I
yeah.
I read a book from the 1970s that gave
Okay.
a like the average rate for like what someone should charge for like palmistry. And
Hmm.
I did the calculation with a friend of mine, and it came out to about $115 per hour. So
Nice.
like in terms of like what they were recommending back in like the 1970s versus today.
Hmm.
So yeah, I think that
Yeah.
like I would like to say that I don't think it is unreasonable. And then, of course, we also offer, like, I do offer several days a month where folks can come in and just have their cards
Mhm.
read. And it's kind of pay if you can, pay
Mhm.
how you can. I've had people like bring me art or sing me a song. Like, so I do have like days like
Yeah.
for that as well. So it's not just like this money grab or like this I'm going to delude people into giving me their life. Like I don't have the energy or like I don't know. I don't think I could sleep at night if I did that. You know what I mean? Like it's just not my temperament. So I
Yeah.
I really try to present us and the community that we have here as like a positive view of paganism. Like I really always
Mhm.
want to lead with that and just be like our best selves, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and as the, as I like to call it, the occult renaissance, that's kind of
Yes. Oh
started a
my
few
gosh.
years ago.
Yeah, the fact that I
Yeah.
can find tarot cards at like Target, like what are we
Hmm.
talking about? Like I back in my day, like, in the early 2000s when I was getting into all of this, it felt so like hush hush and secretive and kind of
Hmm.
like you had to know somebody or like you had to go
Hmm.
specifically to one of the metaphysical stores in the 20-mile
Hmm.
radius, of your area, and you were kind of like I was kind of relegated to like whatever was there, which was a lot of like angel numbers and like Wicca, which is fine, like it's just
Yeah,
not
yeah.
necessarily like my path anymore, right?
Hmm.
So I think that, yeah, this occult renaissance, what a beautiful thing to call it. I love that, because it's true, and
Yeah.
I'm really excited to see the growth for sure.
Yeah, and it's been amazing watching it happen. And it was beautiful watching first when before the crazy, let me caveat.
Yeah.
When I first started to come back to my craft, because I've
Yes.
been accidentally at first, I didn't realize what was going on. I thought I was crazy,
Right.
but turns out I was channeling
Sure.
when I was younger,
Hmm.
and then started more formally addressing things. I was drawn into the Oseid. I was working
Got it.
not with the Asatru, because
Right.
some of those people are special. Um, but I got in and started working with Odin and Thor and Freya, and then Odin wandered as he does, and
Yes.
now I'm very Hellenic, as you can probably see
Yeah.
behind me. Um, but watching it grow has been amazing, with the caveat that the inevitable scam artists
Of course.
and goofballs have shown up with the
Of
explosion of
course.
social media
Of
and
course.
everything
Yeah,
with
there are
social
quite
media.
a
So,
few where I'm like, dude, come on
yeah,
now. Like,
what are you
be
doing?
so serious. Like, listen, like I know that sounds so, and maybe it's just because I'm a Virgo, so like my earth
Mm.
sign, like really, like I focus a lot on like practical magic and like
Hmm.
really weaving magic into the everyday because that's really
Yes.
what I mean. It is there, right? But there, I
Hmm.
remember, there was a lady who was like, I am the most powerful witch in the world because of like whatever. And I like stitched the video because it made me laugh so hard. I was like, no, I am the most powerful witch because I have two broomsticks. Like, come on, dude. It's spirituality. It's supposed to be fun and more importantly, it's supposed to help the
Mhm.
individual. Like, I really think
Yes.
that is at its core. It's not about power or you being right. It's like, hey, do you feel more like you? Do you feel more
Mm.
connected to the world around you and your community and the planet and people in the way that you see fit? Because
Mhm.
that's really, I think, more important than whether or not you can spout off like every characteristic of every zodiac sign and
Yeah.
every planetary hour and what it does. Like that's awesome, like for sure, super cool,
Mhm.
like but do you even like astrology? Like what's the point of knowing that if you don't enjoy it?
Right. And I think that's why we need such positive representation. Like what you're doing is community building, because community really is kind of our protection
Right.
from that kind of stuff. Also,
Right.
misrepresenting us.
Right.
I,
You
I don't know
know,
how
I
many, yeah, how many
I
edge
hate to
lords in the
go
90s ruined
right.
things.
There are so many people, and there are a lot of folks, I think, who have kind of recently come to the craft, missed
Hmm.
out a little bit on some of the like activism and some of the other stuff from the 70s that like
Mm.
Starhawk and Selena Fox were doing, which again
Yep.
was kind of all I had. Like to like really I read like the spiral dance and all of that.
Yeah, those
Um
old school books. Yeah.
yeah, totally. And that were like really rooted in like, and maybe that's again kind of where I get my activist flair, right? But like there when that was kind of popular, there was that undercurrent of like second wave feminism and like eco like activism and stuff like that as well. So I think that
Mhm.
um yeah, I think that coming back to these like community spaces that are like, hey, no, actually, we like want to heal the earth because we're entering into a climate crisis. Like
Yeah.
we're already there actually. Like,
Yeah. We're
um,
several degrees, pun intended, into
correct.
it already.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, I think it's important to kind of return back to some of the roots of that and less of
Mhm.
the, well, I have two broomsticks, you know what I mean? Like it's like the very, I don't know, the I have to be, I don't know, popular on the internet in order to be legitimate. I think that's kind of silly.
That is it so much entirely with, and I think in a lot of ways, I will never, ever, ever say anything nice about Larry E over on Tikiti Tack. I'm not going to say his full name.
Oh, I hear you.
Yeah, but the removal of the witch talk hashtag, I'm kind of half and half on. On the
Yeah,
one hand, like, yeah, you did kind of cut down on the really bad advice that was going on
sure.
out there.
But like also
On the
let
other
people
hand,
create, dude. Yeah,
yeah, exactly. And all it's going to do is make us go underground and push us back into functional communities.
right.
So thanks for
Exactly.
that one. Shot
Yep.
yourself right in the foot there, Larry.
100%.
Um, but it's fascinating to see, coming back to the original thing, that as our community is growing, we're seeing this pushback from mostly, I'm not shy about saying, mostly conservative forces,
Right.
both politically and personally, people who are
Yeah,
conservative.
absolutely. I think it's a really beautiful, like, I don't know, it's a beautiful like counterculture, I think, that
Mhm.
is really forming itself. And I'm happy to be like seeing people stepping into their own power and authenticity.
Mhm.
Because that's really like I think that's really at the core of like what we do here is just like hopefully to empower people to feel better.
Yeah, and empowerment is such an important part of, well, witchcraft, magic, however someone wants to engage with magic under whatever
Right.
name, because there's so many these days.
Indeed. Yeah,
Yeah.
indeed.
But I was talking with Ryan. I apologize, Ryan, if I mispronounce your name, Yongi,
Okay.
the last week, and one of the things that I was emphasizing with him was just showing him things like the magical voice. When you know
Right.
you have the inner and outer voice of
Mhm.
"Be bold, your will be done."
Right.
Because the world wants to break us down. It wants to keep
Right.
us,
Keep us
making
quiet.
profit for a few people.
Mhm.
Exactly. And subjugated. It's ridiculous. Okay, so the police came by. Incidentally,
Yes.
funny side note, I don't talk about this very much, but I was trained as a police officer in the Air
Okay.
Force, in the police academy. Didn't like it. Didn't like it.
Yeah.
Had to testify against a CO at one point, and that saw my
Yeah, that's tough.
polite removal from the Air Force, honorable
Yeah.
conditions. But everything you're describing is exactly what they train us. Don't do it exactly this way.
Right.
So yeah, this is pretty textbook from my point of view. Please continue. Where's the pick the story? Let's pick the story back up and get
Yes, sorry.
going some
So
more.
he came in, he left. I got in contact with my lawyer. We put out a 17-page lawsuit, and
Hmm.
our lawyers kind of went back and forth. And finally, I was granted what's called a temporary injunction, which means that they can't use that law against me
Hmm.
whilst I'm in the middle of litigation. If that makes sense? So basically,
Yeah.
it kind of stayed them from coming in and being like, you can't tarot, you can't read your cards here, off to jail with you, or whatever. Um, so I that has kind of been in place since February of 2025. So it took me like a little bit like a year and a half, I would say, a year
Mm.
and 3 months to kind of get that in place for myself, which was like, I kind of had to be like, I hope they don't come in that time. Um, and then since then, it the because it challenges the PA, like the Pennsylvania legal codes. The DA, the district attorney, is required to defend what Pennsylvania has on the books. So it has to go to trial, right? And through this, they kind of the DA's office tried 3 different times to dismiss my case over the last year. So over
Mm.
2025, we were going back and forth with now the DA's office saying like, no, this should go to trial. And they were like, no, it shouldn't. It's ridiculous. Look at our laws. It's been like this since 1861. Why would you change
Mm-hmm.
that? And I'm like, well, we should still do this. And they tried again to dismiss it. And then finally, last week, literally last week, I think June yeah, whenever you're listening to this, it was in June of 2026. Um, I got a call from my lawyer basically saying the judge finally denied their final dismissal request, and we are
Hmm.
set to have like a telephone conference to set up like the timeline basically on July 22nd of
Nice.
2026. So that'll be kind of like our next like meeting date. And the fact that I even have that like on the books is crazy because it feels like it has taken so long to even get there.
Hmm.
But when I signed on to sue the police and the government, I guess, my lawyer was really upfront with me and was like, "Hey, this can take up to 10 years to do. So, it's up to you whether or not you want to sign on for that." And at the time, I really like, I did the math and I was like, okay, so even if it did take 10 years, I would be 35. Okay.
Yeah.
So like, and what?
Yeah. You're
Like, that
still
doesn't.
more than young enough to keep doing whatever the heck
Correct.
you want to
Right. I'm
do.
like,
Yeah.
that's not even middle aged. Like, shit, dude. Like, I think, I don't think it's going to take that long, but, even if it did, like, let's go. Like, why not?
Yeah.
I have as much time in the world to fight this, at least right now. But I am grateful that things are seeming to kind of move towards the conclusion, like a little bit quicker than they have been
Hmm.
historically.
Yeah, it is crazy to see when people try this type of nonsense. And it's more often than we like to think. I think we like to think that
Yeah.
we're in a civilized time where people are behaving themselves. We're obviously not,
Right.
but it's also an interesting point, and let me know if you want me to edit this out for any legal
Sure.
reasons,
No
but it's
worries.
also a good exercise for legal magic
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yes, of course. So
as well.
honestly, I'm not trying to be like, I'm writing a book kind of about this whole experience and the
Mhm.
level, like the magic that I have done, like to
Mhm.
help. Which honestly, like, it's been more faith in the universe than actual magical workings, if I'm honest with you, because it to me
Mhm.
it feels like weirdly I keep being told to not. It's like, hey, keep your hands off it. So like I feel bad that it's like I wish I could talk more about it, but a lot of the magic that I have been doing has to do with strengthening the community and boosting the
Mhm.
message and just really allowing people to hear that this is something that's happening and that it's
Mhm.
not just Pennsylvania. Like there are still other states and jurisdictions, towns, localities
Yeah.
that have these laws on the books, whether it's a statewide one or something small that's prohibitive. And all of these laws are illegal. Like they are against
Yeah.
the Constitution. And I do really think not to be like, and we should get rid of all of them together. Like, but if you are listening to
Yeah.
this and you do find that in your municipality and you are kind of called to get in touch with your representatives about it, I do think
Mhm.
that it is something that obviously people are serious enough about supporting. And I think,
Yeah.
I've been able to talk to two different House representatives, two different state senators. Like I've been invited to go up to Capitol, like the Harrisburg, which is like the state
Yeah.
capital and stuff. So these are issues that people are listening to. I know it sounds like ridiculous. What do you mean witchcraft? But because it's like so silly, I think it gets
Mhm.
more attention. And I do think it's kind of, I don't know, if it calls to somebody, if it's something that they want to do, I encourage them to do so.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to tack on to that too, because you can bet that there are no shortages of churches praying for your downfall
Oh,
in the
I'm
most
sure.
loving way to bring you back to the gentle comfort of the Lord, I'm sure.
Indeed.
But
Indeed.
uh but our enthusiasm and our vigor must match that of those who would want to
Correct.
oppress us.
Right.
Otherwise,
Of course. I'm
you're
going
just
to
going to end
be,
up having to
and
hide.
that's something that I think I really love. I partner with a local church actually to do a
Mhm.
an inclusive Bible study, like quarterly. So I have
Yeah.
one of the reverends come in. His name is Reverend Ken. He's wonderful. And we pick kind of like a passage of the Bible to look at,
Mhm.
and really take a look at like the historical context, and also open up the floor for people who maybe haven't had the greatest relationship with like religious
Mhm.
institutions to like ask the real questions that they have in a way that is like open and honest and like not and also if you want to learn more come to the church. Like there's never any like pitch or anything. Like there's like always an open door, but never a requirement, which I think is really cool. So yeah, I really want to like show people that like there is like a way to foster interfaith like relations without
Hmm.
animosity, because I see sometimes as much animosity towards the church, sometimes deserved, may I say, that is given, like the same is given to us as pagans. And it's like, whoa,
Yeah.
wait. We're not
Yeah.
trying to, do the same thing. Let's like work a little bit
Yeah.
differently and show
Rise
people.
above.
Right, which
Yeah.
is hard. It is a hard thing to ask of
Mm.
yourself and especially of other people. And I understand, again, the sometimes very like righteous anger there. I think
Mhm. Yeah,
it's
understandable. Yeah.
deserved for sure. But I think that there are people like that are willing to kind of meet others where they're at and be truly loving of each other, which is ideally what Christ taught, which I think is cool. So
Yeah, it's really funny. I love to make this joke. I'm not shy about verbally sparring with Christians because
yeah,
I'm in Virginia now, but I lived in
okay,
Texas for a long
sure,
time, and people were not well educated in their own
sure,
Bible. And the historical precedent of Jehovah to Yahweh to all the way back to the ancient, pre-Semitic storm god in the
right,
Canaanite pantheon. I've found so much like peace in understanding that that message attributed to Christ was repeated so many times beforehand, but that
yeah.
doesn't take away
From the
the
message.
value of
Right.
Christ as a symbol.
Exactly. And like and the yeah, I think like living in the way that he really did say,
Hmm.
which is like, of course, like love thy neighbor as thyself and all of that, of course.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um I can't argue with that. Like what am I supposed to say?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. No,
oh,
no
be
one should have a
awful
better
because
life. Yeah.
yeah, like come on. So yes, I definitely think that like here I try to give people a place to like vent their frustrations while also
Mhm.
offering like a different lens where it's like, okay, yes, totally, like valid, but also like we can also have a potluck together because they're going to the
Mhm.
Pride Festival. Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so it's been a cool journey and experience to kind of become a little bit more integrated into Hanover, because I actually
Mhm.
I'm from Virginia originally, so I'm a
Oh,
transplant.
okay, right
So
on.
yeah, so I definitely understand what you mean by like the zeal that you can encounter.
It's
And I
so
would
weird. Like one block, everyone is very, pro LGBTQ, civil
totally,
human rights, everything. And then one
totally
block over, you've got the, 17 Trump flags on a
right, like the
truck.
Westboro
Like,
Baptist
what
Church, like
is
kind of,
happening?
yeah.
Yeah.
And we definitely have some interesting folks around Hanover that I was not quite expecting this far north, in my mind. But I think that just goes to say, like, yes, that's kind of everywhere in America, but also that's why it's so important that there are these spaces, like
Mhm.
in those areas. And a lot of people have asked, like, why don't you move? Like, why don't you just like go to New York or a different state where it is legal? But like that's not the point. Like the point
Yeah.
is that no one should have to fear this law. And I'm at least going to stay until it's over. Like I can't just disappear now. That sounds like how anticlimactic?
Yeah. And your whole situation, especially like the cops' plans turning on themselves because now you are significant, like exponentially more powerful than you
Hopefully.
were before. Well, I mean, when we look at it, like this is my thinking, right?
Sure.
Your mileage may vary, but when the attempt was to shut you up, to make you be
Right.
quiet so that
Right.
you disappear from the limelight,
Correct.
now you are have this big spotlight focused on
Right.
you. In my experience, that smacks very much of Hecate
Big time.
working things.
Big time.
And it's
And part
funny.
of the whole thing, I mean, the Serpents Key is the name of my shop, which is two
Yeah,
sacred symbols that are hers.
yeah.
And I kind
Very
of
not subtle nod. Yeah.
no, of course, right? Because it was I'm not trying to be too witchy, but I am a witch. But
Yeah.
I basically made her a promise that I would do this and that if she helped
Yeah.
me, that I would create a sanctuary for her. And I really do think that her magic and her energy has been behind a lot of this. And I'm very
Mhm.
grateful for that as well. Like very much so.
Definitely. And since I mean I'm a devotee myself, so
Yeah,
while while everyone has their own way of working with her, of course, like there are times where is very clearly her voice up in my
correct.
head. And I remember distinctly, it was kind of funny. This is why I knew I needed to reach out to you when I saw your Instagram post, because I wasn't paying attention and my hand just goes over and hits the Instagram button.
Yeah,
And I looked down and I was like, that's idiomotor movement. What's going on now? And then
right.
your thing was the first one. And I was like,
Ah, yes,
okay,
a scourge
I
on the
got you.
internet. I am. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Well, thank you,
Um,
and I do deeply appreciate you heeding the call.
yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
I think that we oftentimes ignore stuff like not everything's a sign, of course, but
Yeah.
you never know like what is and like what needs to be listened to. So,
That I think is so crucial for especially for baby witches. And I don't mean that in the offensive
no,
parlance.
of course,
But for people to like understand, because when you're in your sparkle phase,
yeah,
everything's working, everything's magical, the
sure.
world is aglow. And then suddenly one day you realize, wait, this is actual work?
Yeah, right.
What?
What do you mean I
Hang
have to do
on.
the mundane stuff too? Yes, indeed,
Yeah. I
indeed.
have to dance in a graveyard? Holy
Right.
shit.
I have to trespass. No, I'm just kidding. Don't do illegal things, guys, obviously. But,
Yes,
you know,
don't do
don't do
illegal
that.
things.
Allegedly. No, but I definitely think that yeah, there is a phase where novice practitioners
Mhm.
might not trust themselves,
Yeah.
and I think it's important that even today, even though I've been doing this since I was a teenager and feel strange calling myself a professional witch, but that is kind of what we do
Mhm.
here. I do think that even I struggle with that sometimes, and it is kind of like it is something that I've been learning along the way throughout this whole
Mhm.
process, for sure.
Well, I mean, undoing the social programming, I
Of
think,
course.
is one of the most critical works of witchcraft in the modern day and age. Because we're continually, I say this both as a mental health professional and as a hypnotist for 30
Yeah,
years, the amount of influence that we are exposed to on the daily basis
it's crazy.
is staggering to the mind.
Right.
And witchcraft helps us, at least to an extent, determine what it is we're going to
Yeah, what our
be
next
exposed
steps
to.
are. Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. Take that damn power back. So, so if another witch, for example, I told you, I think before we were recording, I had friends who were running a big metaphysical shop in Texas,
Yes.
and they would receive threats, pretty consistent, all sorts of weird stuff. People would leave homemade
Yeah.
Dybbuk boxes on their doorstep, and
It's
yeah, that
stressful.
was actually kind of funny. They ended up, I think, if I remember correctly, they weren't going to bring it across the threshold, so they just grabbed a broom and just kind of like
Like
angled it
swept it
off to the
away. Yeah,
yeah, kind of
sure.
like poked it away to the trash because ain't no one want to mess with
Yeah.
anyone else's stuff.
Oh,
But when somebody is experiencing some type of persecution, because that's
yes.
what it is at
Sure.
heart, like whether by authorities or by local goofballs, what
Yes.
is your advice after having going through this for those
Oh
people?
my gosh. So I kind of consider myself like a professional internet troll, but like for good. Like I maybe it's again because I'm from Virginia and like my
Mhm.
parents raised me to like kill them with kindness, but like
Yeah.
my strategy is always to be like sickeningly nice because inevitably somebody
Mhm.
else is going to say in the comments exactly what you wanted to say.
Yep.
But I think it's also really important, again, just to remember, like, and at least for me, I now, because I have such a spotlight on me, have to be a
Mhm.
representative of the community. And I'm not trying to make other witches look bad by having a tantrum on the internet, right?
Yeah.
Sure, I've cried and screamed and all of that good stuff. I think, fair enough. But
Understandably. Yeah.
yeah, I try really to, bring a note of like levity to stuff and just kind of
Mhm.
be like, oh, isn't this so silly? Because it is at the end of the day.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think that there's a lot of, it's easy to kind of get to fall into the trap of anger, which is
Mhm.
fair. But I think that, that joy and like sometimes like resistant joy, like joy in the face of the
Mhm.
oppressor is sometimes so much more it just is more powerful than
Yep.
anger and rage and all of that. Powerful in different ways, but again, I think killing
Yeah.
people with kindness is like the way that I choose to go at the very least.
I mean, it is. there's a there's a fun thing to do when you have the pearl clutching crowd
Oh, absolutely.
walk, gasp when you walk into the room, and then they just wave and pleasant like, "How you doing?"
Yeah, right,
Walk
right,
by.
right. Like the very,
Yeah.
like the not reacting or just like
Hmm.
not giving them the reaction that they want. One of my favorite like responses is like, I'm really glad that you found the spiritual path that's right for you.
Yeah.
And that's really just
Oh,
it.
that blows their mind.
Yeah, like I'm so
That's
glad that you have
what?
peace and comfort in your path. Like I'm so happy. Like and like genuinely am if it really gives them the peace that they desire, right? But I get the feeling it doesn't. And I just, I don't it is almost like slamming your head into a brick wall and wondering why your
Hmm.
head hurts sometimes, like if you kind of get into the weeds with it, because everyone can quote the Bible. It's there, it's in the public domain. I can Google
Yeah.
it. I And that's not going to prove anything, right?
Yeah.
But I think leading by example and leading with kindness and showing people, hey, wait, we're not these crazy devil worshiper, like, dude, I'm a vegetarian, like I'm vibing, man, like
Yeah. You've
we're
seen too many
not.
scary movies, bro. Come on.
Yeah, right. Like I'm not the Blair Witch.
Yeah.
I'm not poisoning the well or stealing your goat or whatever. Like
Yeah.
I am a shop owner and I'm a member of our community and we do fundraisers sometimes. So,
Mhm.
like it's very not um I don't know. It's nice to I really like defying people's initial perceptions. Like that to
Mhm.
me is just something that like gives me a thrill, I guess. But it is just genuinely nice to be like, hey, I know that you think that is what this is, but it's not. And it's okay that you thought that. Like, I'm not mad at you for that because, how else are you supposed to know?
Yeah.
But hey, guess what? This is what we do here. And you can be here too, regardless of what you believe in.
Yeah, and it's refreshing because I tend to, I'm not trying to be that edge lord guy, but
Sure,
I most of my friends tend to like hang out and keep a foot in the dark camp too, right?
sure,
Like,
totally.
one foot in the light, one foot in the dark.
Absolutely.
You can dance with who you want.
For sure.
But a lot of them that I have talked to are just not shy about talking about the darker stuff that they do, and they kind of try to embody that. And it's like, bro, just
Yeah,
do it and then
right. That's kind of,
talk
and I
about
think people learn that. Like, sure, I definitely, when I was in my early 20s, was
it.
absolutely talking about the baneful magic that I did or whatever. But like,
Yeah.
I'm tired, man. Like, I don't have time to like talk. Like, do you know what I hate to be so like,
Hmm.
yes, like jaded.
Yeah.
And I think that baneful magic does have a place in one's
Hmm.
practice, right? If you want to heal, you should also know how to harm, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know that it's necessarily something worth giving clout over. Like, it's kind of like, okay, cool. I'm glad that that works for you. Like, it works for me too. Awesome. But I
Yeah.
also, I don't think the hexes that you're throwing at me are going to work, my dear. Like, like good luck.
Yeah, I mean it makes me laugh because I remember having this conversation with a friend who I'm not going to name. Very
Sure.
much left-hand path, love to
Sure.
talk. Like he was the opposite of you, which is kind of funny that he made me think of you, because you are just being bright and shiny, and then he's like, "Oh, death and damnation." Like,
Sure, sure,
yeah,
man. I don't know.
like,
I work with dead
bro,
deities too. Maybe I'm just a little bit of an oddball, but
yeah,
like,
just not in
yeah,
the healthy way. Yeah,
yeah,
just
right. It's just
but
part of life. It is the same thing. It is two sides of the same coin.
yeah. Yeah. He was going on about like, oh, I did this and that, and he's got him up on his Instagram, and I'm like, bro, when they start looking for people, who do you think they're gonna look for?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
man. Yeah, man. But hey, to each their own. I am not
yeah,
to stir another's cauldron, I suppose. But I do think that there is something to be said about truly like using spirituality to like benefit
mhm,
your life, like mind,
yes,
body, and soul, right? It's not just about attaining riches and power. Like, dude, I don't care about that. I wouldn't
yeah,
care about that. I thrift most of my clothes because I like to.
yeah,
But yeah, I do think that there is something to be said about that self empowerment and the ability to be like your authentic self and not feel like, well, I have to have all this power in order to be accepted by the witches. Well, okay, cool,
right,
man. I
yeah,
too can do the rite of the lesser pentagram of Solomon or whatever the fuck,
mhm.
like whatever, like banishing whatever. Anyways, like yeah,
BLBRP, yeah,
yeah, exactly. So I think that there's room for all, but I
Mm,
hope that if people are ever curious or like are afraid to talk about witchcraft, that they can come into my space at the very least
yeah.
and not feel like that we're gonna like laugh at them or be like, oh my God, you didn't know that? Like in
Uh-oh.
all right, can you see me? I'm so
There
sorry.
we go. Yeah, no
There we go.
worries.
Super sorry about that. My I moved over to like where our router is and stuff because
Ah, gotcha.
old
Okay.
building, 1800s, all of that good stuff. So apologies. Anyways,
Hey, no big
less of
deal.
a fun background indeed, but oh well,
Yeah. The
we just gotta
internet
work.
just didn't like your witchy mean girls act and
I
said
guess not.
no.
Yeah, they were like, stop.
It's a bad impression.
Indeed. Oh my goodness.
So we got about like 10 minutes left here.
Awesome.
So for those who are looking, like I said earlier, I've it's been always my dream to like have the money and the wherewithal to open the witchy coffee shop, bookstore, and all that
Totally.
jazz. What is your advice to people who want to pursue that? How to integrate magic into the formation of your business? Your audio dropped out.
Oh no.
Oh, it's back.
Is it back? Okay, cool,
Yeah.
cool, cool, cool. So the way that I really tackled this
Mhm.
is I honestly I use the lunar cycle a lot. So I use that for like my
Okay.
goal setting, right? But I also really I did a lot of intentional work and made sure that if I said I was going to do something, I did it, right?
Mm.
And I think that that goes for magic and in real life too. Like I think
Mhm.
these things are, not mutually exclusive, but especially when you are, making like promises to spirits, or if you are saying like, hey, if you help me with this, I'm going to like, you
Mhm.
really got to follow through on stuff. So when it comes to like running a small business, I do really think that like if you want to take a spiritual route to it, you have to have your own kind of spirituality like set aside for yourself, because it can become really entangled with like the business side of
Mhm.
things. But also that um the mundane tasks that you do like also fulfill you spiritually. Like there are
Yeah.
things that like, yes, it sucks that I have to sweep my entire store or whatever, but guess
Mhm.
what? I get here early and I get to like work with my plant spirits and I get to do a nice cleansing ritual or what have
Mhm.
you before we open up for the day. I do think that there are, especially if you are in a small town like me, I do think that there are some, there's always going to be that risk of people kind of being naysayers or just kind of
Yeah.
picketing your establishment. But that doesn't mean that you don't have a right to be there. Like you are not just a witch, you are also an American citizen. And as
Yep.
long as you are doing everything you got to do, I think like, you should be confident that you're allowed to do what you want, and that there will be people who identify with your mission, identify with what you do, and who will support you, like through and through. So
Mhm.
even if you're like, oh my gosh, but there's nothing like this around here, good, that's like
Hey,
less competition.
you got the market cornered. Yeah.
Right, exactly. So I think that not only like, making sure that the items that you are stocking in your store are kind of like ethically sourced and kind of are in
Mhm.
alignment with what your personal beliefs are. Like I don't
Mhm.
necessarily stock a whole lot of stuff that is for we don't have a lot of like people who practice like Afro-Caribbean practices like hoodoo or ifa or anything. I don't really stock a whole lot of stuff like that, but we do have a lot of people here who practice Pennsylvania Dutch powwow. And even though
Mhm.
that's not necessarily my practice, it is something that like a lot of people like here. So we do have a section of like Pennsylvania history and Pennsylvania Dutch like resources and books and stuff. So I
Mhm.
think that like if you can really tap into what your community needs and not try to just do everything for everybody,
Yeah.
you'll attract the people who are not meant for you, but like your vibe attracts the people who are like in alignment with where you're at, like spiritually and business
Mhm.
wise, I think too, who get your vibe.
Yeah, absolutely. And I like the way that you said that because there's a number of people that I talk with are initiated into five, six, seven, 50, I don't know how many
Sure.
different like crafts,
Traditions.
right?
Yeah,
Traditions,
absolutely.
schools. I've really, I don't go broad, I go deep.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
everything you just said resonates so well with that. Like if you just stay in not in your
Not
lane,
like
but if you
stay in
stay in
your
your
lane,
vibe.
but right within the your sphere of understanding. Like for example,
Yeah.
I'm half Puerto Rican, so like technically I could put a bunch of stuff about Santeria like in on my
Mhm.
shelves because like but that's not my practice. And also there are
Mhm.
people like it. There aren't a whole lot of folks who do practice that. So yeah, I think
Yeah.
like yes, I could, and maybe I think I have like one or two books that I also have read and enjoy, but like
Mhm.
um they're really I try to focus more on again the stuff that my community needs, which tends to be more like incense and candles, and I'm interested in making a spell jar. Like a lot of people are kind of new to this because it is the
Mhm.
occult renaissance, like you were saying.
Mhm.
So I think having kind of a solid place for people to be to like experience this world and understand one that we're not all evil and crazy and what have you, right? But that they don't need to be like experts immediately in order to be like legitimate or to belong in a space for sure.
Yeah, beautiful. Love it. All right, Beck, I know you got someone coming up here, so where can people find you to
Yeah,
look for you?
absolutely. And thank you again for having me on. Oh my
Of
goodness.
course.
So I'm all over the place. Like I said, I'm kind of a scourge on the internet. So I'm over on TikTok and Instagram under the Stitching Witch. I have underscores under like between the words over on Instagram, but not on
Mhm.
TikTok. And then on Instagram, if you wanted to follow the shop, it is the Serpents Key, again with underscores between the words, and I can send this all over to you.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
then I have like a YouTube channel that I like sometimes update. And then where else? I'm all over the place. We have a website and stuff as well for the shop in case you guys are interested in seeing like what we have going on. We host all sorts of events.
Mhm.
We host free ceremonies and ritual circles for the new moon, the full moon, and holidays on the wheel of the year. So
Nice.
people are always welcome to come out to those. Our next one is June 20th for the summer solstice.
Mhm.
And it's a lot of fun. And it's a very like I don't know, I just feel like it's a very chill community, and there is no like I don't know, like there's no entry fee or attendance that's taken. Like you're
Nice.
allowed to just be here and see if it's like right for you, and if it's not, that is also okay. No harm, no foul.
Dope. All right. Well, Beck, like I said, when someone's working works, sometimes it's best not to say anything about it. So I'm not going to say anything about whether or not anyone out there should consider trying to also add some energy to your
Absolutely.
legal struggles in whatever way you see. That's up
Right.
to
It
you.
is appreciated, indeed, indeed, but not
Yeah.
required.
Yeah, definitely not. But I want to say thanks for coming on. It has been fantastic to get to know you. Like I was saying earlier, it's amazing to watch somebody on Instagram, see what's happening, and then talk to them like a person, which is amazing. Um, are there
Well, I'm
any?
glad. I'm always so happy to sit down and like, and I do really hope that gets across as well. Like, yes, I'm on Instagram and all that stuff, but I'm just a little guy. Like, I'm just like, when people come into the shop, I hope they know that they can just like actually talk to me and not feel like, oh my God, you have to like dog.
Internet fame. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Like I post for the 12 people I know in real life usually, and then I'm
Yeah.
shocked when other people see it. So
All right. So, is there anything, advice, words, or things of power you want to leave to people before I stop recording?
honestly, thank you guys again just so much for listening. And I hope that like if anything, if anyone is ever like faced with a situation like this, one that they know that I feel for them like fully. It's never fun, and I really hope no one ever has to deal with this again.
Mhm.
But that they should feel empowered to like take control or to kind of stand up for themselves and not just not just bow to the powers that be, especially when you know you're right about something,
Yeah.
or when an injustice has truly been done to you. Indeed.
Absolutely. And that I think fundamentally is what witchcraft is all about, is having that manner outside the normal system to get things done. I need to get done.
Absolutely. I know.
Yeah.
What, I'm a witch. I should be able to stand up against those powers, you know?
There you go. All right, I'll go ahead and stop recording here, Beck. We say
Awesome.
good night and goodbye to everybody.
Indeed. Bye, guys. Thanks so much for listening.
It's really important for us as practitioners to be aware of situations like the stitching witch. So many people I've talked to over the past year and ended up mentioning the stitching witch or similar or even worse things occurring, especially in the deep southern states, where they just roll their eyes and they say, oh, this again, and then they go about their day. I want to encourage you, if you're a practitioner, A, thanks for listening to the entire thing and listening to me now, but B, pay attention to the fact that it is not just an individual act. When authority figures do these kind of things, they're doing it to establish a precedent. And they establish that precedent so that they can use it against other people. And they can always go a little farther each time. And we all know how that ends up. Now, I do not want to end this episode on a note like that. What I do want to do is encourage you to follow Beck Ravenwood, the Stitching Witch, on Instagram, on TikTok, on every place that you can find them. Show your support. Lend your magic to help them out, because the harder we push back, the better it gets for all of us. So on that note, I'm going to let you get on with your day. Thanks for spending your time with me and with Beck. I hope that you do have a truly wonderful weekend, and the week after that, and the week after that. I'll talk to you in the next interview.